Welcome to Built on Faith Homestead or Leaving Egypt, depending on which video platform you watch your content on. My name is Justin. I live with my wife, Melissa. We live in a tiny house, and we just do the best we can to serve the Lord and live a self-sustainable life. And we have a lot of work to do in both of those areas. Today's video, I want to talk about the most controversial thing I've probably ever talked about on here, and that would be racism and race.
I once was lost, oh, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see.
So, yes, I understand. I am a white, red-bearded, blue-eyed, Christian, conservative hillbilly that likes to live in the sticks and hunt and fish. And I believe that men ought to be men, and not only men, but I believe they ought to be strong men and they ought to be leaders, because I believe that is what God has called us into. And according to most colleges in the United States and big cities and those kinds of things, is I am a danger to society. Let me, if I can, do the best I can to try to tell you what my actual viewpoints are as a red-bearded, blue-eyed, hillbilly, Christian, conservative individual. Whether you like it or whether you don't, just hear me out, okay? So racism exists, right? There's no way around that. And not just amongst white people, but against people of all colors, right? There just is. And I don't care if you like that or not, it's the truth of the matter. I myself have experienced it, especially whenever I was in college. I had a person that, because of my skin color, was not wanting to let me out of a gas station, because me going in there and buying a few things for my dorm room and then trying to walk out after I purchased those items made me a bad individual. And this person that was not letting me out of the gas station told me I was a bad individual because of my skin color, and they were wanting to fight me. And every time I took a step one way or the other to get out the door, this person said that it was because of my skin color that they wanted to fight me. It was one of the craziest things, right, that I've ever seen, and that's just one of many examples that I experienced while I was there, right? And it's just part of it. Now, like I said, racism exists, and it exists amongst all skin colors, like it or not. It's the truth of the matter. And now here's my own personal beliefs. I believe that people of different colors are different, plain and simple. One really obvious one, maybe their skin color is different. Now, that doesn't mean anything bad. That doesn't mean anything, any hate, any frustration, anything. Just different. In fact, I think that difference is there for beauty. And let me explain to you why I think that. Whenever I make something on the smoker, whenever I grill a piece of meat on the smoker, or I smoke a piece of meat on the smoker, my absolute favorite flavor combination is sweet and spicy. They contrast one another. It's delicious. What's your favorite thing to dip a hot wing in? Buffalo wing. What is it? Probably ranch or blue cheese. You want to know why? Because it's creamy against that spicy. Those two differences work together to make a beautiful dish, right? Salt and pepper taste different, but they are the base of almost everything that we season. Why? Because of the flavor that is there. And so, I believe that God created this world with people that are different in it to make it better, not worse. But you see, mainstream media, colleges, the world that we live in today would tell you that people like me hate people of different skin colors. And here's the truth of the matter. I don't have any hate for anybody of a different skin color. I really don't. In fact, I think it is the most absurd and racist thing I've ever heard to say that we're all exactly the same. We're not. We're different. Are we all human beings? Yes. Do we all have rights and should have rights? Yes. Do we all bleed red blood? Yes. Do we all need saving from Jesus Christ? Absolutely. But the truth of the matter is, we're probably different in some way, shape, or form, right? Not only that, places you grow up will make you different, right? If you grow up in the sticks, you're probably going to be different than somebody that grew up in the city. And the truth of the matter is, if we would lay down our mainstream media ideas of how we should hate one another, we could probably learn from one another. See, I actually believe the war between men and women is a lot the same. I believe that we have been pitted against one another in this duel, in this fight. Whenever God created us, he created us to work together, to help one another, to be there for one another, to make things better. I say this all the time about my wife. She's different than I am. She's not the same as I am. She's different. She's supposed to be different, and I'm supposed to learn from that. And some of the stuff that drives me absolutely bonkers, that just makes me want to throw a fit, right, is actually some of the stuff that's there to help me with my wife, right? The way that she can just appreciate every little detail of things, right? Sometimes that drives me nuts, right? I just want to press on to the next thing. But I have learned from her to stop and slow down and appreciate some things in life. If we would quit believing all of the mainstream nonsense and understand that we are different and it's okay to be different. Not only is it okay to be different, it's a blessed thing, right? Could you imagine? Like, let me put it to you this way. Like, why do people like fall so much? Right? I love fall. Fall is my favorite time of year, right? But what's one of the beautiful things about fall? It's the trees. Why the trees? Because their leaves go from green to red to yellow to oranges to even different shades of brown to maybe even some pinks in there, purples, all kinds of deep, beautiful colors. And we all look at the trees and we're all like, look how beautiful that is, right? Yet, for some reason, because of media, because of some people that just got things wrong over the years, we have been pitted against one another, and I think it's ridiculous, and it drives me berserk. And I also think it's ridiculous to say we're all exactly the same. We're not. We're different, and praise the Lord it's that way. Praise the Lord, sweet and spicy exists. Praise the Lord that sweet and creamy and spicy and bitter and all of that, praise the Lord that all exists. I would hate for somebody to try to make them the same exact thing. Just like in this world, men are men, women are women. They're made to be different, and people of different ethnicities are probably going to be vastly different in a lot of ways. And praise the Lord for that, because it adds all kinds of different things in this life. There's a lot of foods that I eat that we absolutely love that we would not have if it wasn't for people of different ethnicities, right? A lot of the food we consume was not made by, European recipes. And I love spice. I like stuff so spicy that you get that bead of sweat right across your forehead, right? That's one of my favorite flavors, right? I like it. I like lots of flavor. I like for food to really pop in my mouth, and like that probably didn't come from Europe, right? But to sit here and say, you know what, we're all exactly the same. No, we're not. And praise the Lord, because the differences is part of what makes this world so beautiful. And if we learn to work together, I'll give you this last example, and then if you're still with me, thank you for hearing me out, right? But like electricity, right? You usually got a hot and a ground or something along those lines. And if you wire a light switch up the right way, when you turn that switch on, it makes a beautiful light. But if you cross them the wrong way, it causes sparks and it might burn the house down, right? But when they work together and they work together in the right way, it produces light. And I believe that if all people, right, especially us children of God, if we will all work together and recognize that, hey, you know what? There's some differences here. And praise the Lord. And maybe you can learn from me and I can learn from you, right? If we'll recognize that, I think we will shine as beautiful light. But if we continue on the path that we're on, it will just continue to deteriorate. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you on the next video.